Good morning everyone. I am Tracy Leah P. Mariano and I am the next presenter, which I am going to present the continuation of the chapter 3, which is entitled Understanding Multilingualism. So, selecting a medium of instruction or MOOI. The multilingual nature of the country possesses a challenge for administrators and teachers in selecting what mother tongue to use as a medium of teaching and learning. So, the medium of instruction is a language used in teaching where students' first language is different from the official language. It may be used as the medium of instruction for part or all of schooling like bilingual or multilingual education. It also involves using more than one language of instruction. The Philippine Department of Education proposes two models for selecting the medium of instruction in the mother tongue-based grades. Currently, the MTBMLE is being implemented into two modules. First, as a learning subject area and second, as a medium of instruction. So, in Model 1, in classes in which the majority of the pupils have the same mother tongue, then this language should ideally be used as the main language of instruction and learning. Believing that the child's language will serve as the fundamental language for literacy and learning, the Department of Education or DepEd said, how can Model 1 be implemented? Particularly local education authorities should conduct capacity building activities to move forward. For example, stakeholders should meet to develop spelling rules for the mother tongue and organize regular workshops such as writing, editing, illustrations, and digitalizing learning resources aligned with the national curriculum. So in Model 2, in classes in which there are many mother tongues, a predominant community languages, typically a regional language, should be used. In Model 2, it possesses there that MTBMLE is a suitable response to the Philippines' linguistic diversity, while the intention of using the mother tongue is for the children. It is clear that for teachers in the elementary grades, it is sometimes difficult to actually figure out what languages should be chosen as the medium of instruction. In addition to these two models, some schools have tried other models such as streaming children with different mother tongue into separate sections or prioritizing a language of historical and cultural significance. To select the appropriate model, it is important that language mapping can be conducted to know what languages are spoken in a particular region, province, or school. If language mapping is not conducted, there is a higher chance that the teacher's language are using will not be familiar to the pupils. So next, let's proceed to the teacher competence in the mother tongue. Teachers needs to be proficient in the languages of instruction. If a teacher does not know how to speak the mother tongue of her pupils, she will find it very challenging to implement a mother tongue-based curriculum. Such deficiencies can hence slow the learning progress of the children and frustrate both the learners and the teachers. For this reason, it is recommended that teachers are hired from the same locality or language community as the children's mother tongue because there is a tendency that it might not facilitate a deeper discussion that it may struggle the students. While mother tongue proficient teachers are essential in the early grades both in speaking and writing, they can also be beneficial in the higher grades, although policy might not explicitly call for the use of mother tongue. It is still preferred that teachers should know how to speak the mother tongue so that she or he can provide some elaboration or clarification to understand the conversation between students. It is also emphasizes that first language development can facilitate the planning process. At the very end, it is important for a teacher to have a general awareness of what languages are spoken by by her pupils. Next is teaching mathematics and science in multilingual classrooms. Multilingualism does not necessarily impede the learning of mathematics and science. In fact, it can help it. One of the main objectives of learning mathematics and science in basic education is to be able to communicate mathematically and scientifically. Teaching mathematics and science in a multilingual classrooms has elements that are similar to learning a language, since mathematics and science has conceptual and abstract forms. So therefore, communicating mathematically requires the use of an ordinary language, the language in which science and mathematics are taught and learned. Majority of learners are in multilingual classrooms, so it is also important that their home languages will be regarded as legitimate languages and they can be used in a variety of discourses assessment. So next is flexible language practice. Flexible language practices are also helpful in the early grades when teaching mathematics and science. So before 2012, these subjects were officially taught in English, whereas now they are taught in the mother tongue. So generally, it is important that teachers are competent in the languages of teaching and learning, particularly the children's first language as the foundation of their educational experiences. Even though the mother tongue is the official medium of instruction, teachers can also be free to use the English term if they are commonly used in the community. It is also natural for the Philippine setting that English will be occasionally used in the mother tongue grade level, while the mother tongue can be handy in higher grades even if the official medium of instruction is English. Thus, language policy, particularly in the Philippine education, needs to be implemented with some degree of flexibility and contextualization. So let's proceed to the chapter 4, which entitled Language Acquisition, How Language is Acquired. So before we proceed to our discussion, let us discuss first the learning outcomes. So first, summarize the basic concept of the behaviors theory, the theory of innate universal language ability in humans, and the social interaction theories of first language acquisition. Second is explain the basic concepts that characterize the linguistic theories, the cognitive theories, and the socio-cultural theories that support second language acquisition. Third is discuss the language proficiency framework proposed by Jim Cummins that seems to facilitate the acquisition of a learner's second language in a classroom situation. And the last one is apply the theories to language teaching learning situation. Introduction. Fundamental premise of MTB-MLE is that pupils will more readily learn to read, write, and communicate in a second or third language once they have mastered those skills in their first language, which is the mother tongue. Children acquire language quickly, easily, and without effort or formal teaching. It happens automatically whether their parents try to teach them or not. Although parents or caretaker don't teach their children to speak, They do perform an important role by talking to their children, and the language must be used for interaction with the child. For example, a child who regularly hears language with the TV or a radio. Um, Children acquire language also through interaction not only with their parents but also with other children. It is normal that children who grow up in a normal households surrounded by conversation will acquire the language that is being used around them. And it is just as easy for a child to acquire two or more languages at the same time as long as they are regularly interacting with the speakers of those languages. So that would be all of my report. I hope you learned something, and thank you for listening.